How are things going for Caplinger Seafood during these COVID times?
For us, the business has been strong. We've actually grown a little bit.
If somebody wants to pick up their seafood or have a sandwich made, what do they need to do?
We're trying to have as many people do online ordering as possible, and you can visit our website at caplingersfreshcatch.com.
So, the recipe I'm going to try and make is what I call Steve's Key West shrimp and pasta, and it's kind of a sautéed shrimp. What kind of shrimp would you recommend that I use for a recipe like that?
Well, there's a lot of different options when it comes to shrimp. One of my favorite that we carry on a consistent basis is going to be a jumbo Gulf shrimp.
Hi, welcome to Steve Sweitzer. Today we are going to make what I call Steve's Key West shrimp pasta. I'm starting out with some really nice Gulf Coast shrimp that I got from Andrew Caplinger. I worked on them a little bit and pulled off all of the shells, but I kept them, and I'll explain why I did that in a minute. And because I have to shoot this, makes it a little difficult to shoot and cook at the same time, I have invited Zoya Abbas, who is a house guest with us, and she's visiting until she goes back home to Pakistan, and she's agreed to step in and do the cooking while I do the shooting. This recipe requires a bit of prep work, because once we get started, things happen pretty quickly. We begin by adding the shrimp shells and the vegetables to boiling water to make a fish stock. Then we cook the pasta until al dente, reserving a couple cups of the water it was cooked in. The real recipe begins by drying the shrimp and seasoning with salt and pepper. So now what I'm going to have you do is the secret ingredient. Just take a little pinch of sugar and lightly dust the shrimp with this. And the idea is when you put a little sugar on the shrimp, when we saute them, this is going to help them caramelize. Melt some butter in a medium hot skillet. Then saute the garlic and onions until they start to turn brown. Add the mushrooms and cook until they start to soften. Remove and save. Now, the fun part.
Yeah.
Let's lay the shrimp in there kind of gently, one at a time, but get them in quickly. That's good, and we should hear that sizzle as they come in there, because we want to saute them and not boil them. And just as they start to begin to pink up a little bit, you can use some tongs and flip them, because we want to flip each one over. And you can see they've got that nice kind of caramel crust. Now let me have you pour in the wine and just whisk that around and try and get those, there we go, and get those little bits up off the bottom. Then add the fish stock and some of the pasta water and whisk together for a few minutes. Add the peas and cook until tender before adding the lemon juice and lemon zest. Spoon the pasta onto a serving plate. Top with 5 or 6 shrimp, sprinkle with parsley and dust with Parmesan, and voila, Steve's Key West shrimp and pasta. So Andrew, I've got to tell you, we made this recipe and this was absolutely the best it's ever been. And I know it was because of the shrimp.
That's great to hear, and I tell you, it's all about the ingredients. When you put the best in there, it makes a big difference, and it's hard to ever go back.
Well, and I'll tell you, we have learned over the years, the place to get the best fresh seafood in Indianapolis is Caplinger's Seafood Markets.